Life is a constant game of scope creep. You need to find a way to keep from slipping into that unconscious autopilot mode. It's time to zero base your life. But what does that even mean? I'm Mike Cavanaugh. I am a life coach and a side hustle coach. I'm the author of this free audiobook, Side Hustle with Purpose, that you can pick up through the link below. And my purpose is helping you live yours. Okay, so here was the situation. My life was a tornado. I was trying to do it all: full-time work, parenting, projects, managing several large demands, and 1,000 little ones. You know how it is. If you've ever heard of zero-based budgeting, it's this concept of starting next year's budget from scratch instead of taking last year's and trying to sculpt that bloated pile of crap into something fit for purpose. What did this mean for my life? That was the question. And honestly, I wasn't sure at first, so I just had to listen for the inner wisdom. And eventually what it told me was to try something that I had never tried before. Tear things down to the studs and rebuild things slowly, one brick at a time. Now, tear things down to the studs didn't mean blowing up my life. The studs were my essential life priorities and my commitments: family, work, core responsibilities. But everything else was fair game. So here's how it actually looked in practice. For 2 days, I did nothing but be with my family. No phone, no podcast, no social. I actually fasted too. All pockets of free time were spent doing absolutely nothing but watching my squirrely-ass brain try to crawl out of my body and grab a phone or a tortilla chip. After those couple days of essentially detoxing, I went to work and I added back in my very first discretionary thing, which was exercise. And that's it until 2 days later, at which point I added in some time on a creative project. And then a couple days after that, I added in some friend time. So that was basically what it looked like. And I learned a ton from this experiment. So I'm going to share 5 insights that I took away. Insight number 1, listen to the cues that things are getting too out of control and do something about it. I ignored the cues for too long. My brain was scattered. I felt rushed. People driving the speed limit annoyed me an unreasonable amount. I experienced physical symptoms, and still I kept running at this stupid pace. Insight number 2, don't believe the lie that you tell yourself that your core responsibilities are already too much. I let myself buy into a lie that busyness was just a season of life thing. Work, young kids, and I thought maybe I had 10 or 20% control over things. Lies. When I was ruthless about what was necessary, time opened up way more than I was expecting. Insight number 3, when you truly slow down, something big shifts in your brain. Now, this isn't a new insight for me. I've been meditating and going on silent retreats for about 20 years. But this one feels fresh every time I live through it. And what I mean is this: busy is a mindset. We think busyness is 100% objective reality. I have to do all these things, and it's too much, therefore I am busy, which is why I feel busy. But when you force yourself to slow down and do nothing for stretches, it changes your relationship to time. Our unconscious belief is that going faster is the way to deal with having too many things to do, which keeps us running at this insane pace. Paradoxically, when you move slower, time moves slower. Slowing down also frees up psychic space that changes your understanding of your priorities. You see choices in a way that you hadn't before. You don't get suckered in by unquestioned belief. Deep thinking is clear thinking, and clear thinking leads to clear priorities. Insight number 4. Motion just creates more motion. There is a mechanism that keeps us stuck in the perpetual loop of a productivity complex: inertia. It's like somebody running a sprint. They're exhausted. Their body needs to rest, but they think the answer to their condition is to cross that finish line up ahead. And so they blow through that finish line. Their legs are still going, but then they spot a new finish line up ahead. And they think that the answer is they got to run through that one as well. Over and over, they trick themselves into thinking that the answer to running too fast is to finish a task or cross some imaginary line or milestone. But that method doesn't actually work. The real answer is much, much simpler. Just stop running. Insight number 5, guard your newfound freedom with your life. So during this experiment, I stumbled onto a really simple practice, and it's helped me stay true to my priorities, keep things simple and clear. And it's a great one for side hustlers, so I'm going to share it in a future video and also in one of my next newsletters. But here's the key, here's the root understanding. Life is a constant game of scope creep. I came out of my experiment a new man, but it wasn't long before that to-do list ballooned again. You need to find a way to keep from slipping into that unconscious autopilot mode. Staying simple and clear about priorities is actually a daily practice. So that's what I do now. I carve out 5 or 10 minutes every single day in the morning to focus on tiers of priorities, what's really important. And this little bit of time pays back for me at least 20x in terms of my goals, my sense of clarity, but more importantly, in terms of my sense of purpose and fulfillment and well-being. So I encourage you to try your own version of this, find what works for you. Thank you so much for listening. And if this is your year to start a purpose-driven side hustle, check out my free mini audiobook, Side Hustle with Purpose. Here, it's at mikecav.com/free. I will see you in the next video. Peace and love.